But I would like to tell you what I often told you when you were much younger. I like you just the way you are.
He would pass away a few months later of stomach cancer, and the neighborhood would never feel quite the same again.
It's such a good feeling to know that we're lifelong friends.
Number 9.
And my friends, I feel like that's true because the last time I reacted to Mr. Rogers, so many of you guys sent me message or even end up leaving comments saying that he ended up changing your life. And I'm going to ask this to all of you. First of all, did you grow up with Mr. Rogers? If so, leave me a like. But more important than that today is leave me a comment saying how important he was for you, because some stories are actually sad, but at the same time they are amazing, because a person that you saw on TV ended up being so important to your life. That to me is how the media can actually be something positive. So feel free to leave me a comment, my friend. Today I'll be reacting to Top 10 Mr. Rogers moments that will make you nostalgic. My friends, I'm so excited for this one. I ended up discovering Mr. Rogers more or less 1 year ago, and let me say this, what an amazing human being. I know a lot of you guys remember him, like him a lot, so this should be a good one. But before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Link for the original video in my description, and let's play it.
Won't you be our neighbor? Welcome to Ms. Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Mr. Rogers moments.
Because deep down, we know that what matters in this life is more than winning for ourselves. What really matters is helping others win too.
Damn, my friends. See, I like Mr. Rogers a lot, even though, of course, I did not grow up with him. But every time I see him speak, there is a lot of knowledge in his words. And actually, let me ask this right away, my friends. If you are watching this right now, do you know Mr. Rogers? Because maybe someone are actually not aware of him. And if you know him, if you end up growing up with Mr. Rogers, feel free to leave me a comment. Tell me how important he was for you. Look, our channel is still not that big yet, so I can read most of the comments, and that for me would mean a lot.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at all those heartwarming moments that made Fred Rogers such a huge influence in so many children's lives. He introduced us to everything from astronauts to gorillas to crayons to puppets.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, Al Warden. You mean you actually took it?
I actually carried that with me.
Number 10, when he said goodbye. After decades.
Okay, sorry. So this may be the last episode?
That with me.
Number 10, when he said goodbye. After decades producing his show, Mr. Rogers recorded what would be one of his last videos at the WQED studio.
I'm just so proud of all of you who have grown up with us. And I know how tough it is some days to look with hope and confidence on the months and years ahead.
This message was for all of us who'd grown up with him, and for all those children he hoped we would encourage and keep safe.
And to help them express their feelings in ways that will bring healing in many different neighborhoods.
In his final message, Mr. Rogers made it a point to express how grateful he was and how much he liked us for who we were.
To be fair, my friend, sorry, but his face makes me smile. Actually, I don't know why. He seems such an amazing and positive person.
He made it a point to express how grateful he was and how much he liked us for who we were.
But I would like to tell you what I often told you when you were much younger. I like you just the way you are.
He would pass away a few months later of stomach cancer,
beautiful.
and the neighborhood would never feel quite the same again.
It's such a good feeling to know that we're lifelong friends.
Number 9.
And my friends, I feel like that's true because the last time I reacted to Mr. Rogers, so many of you guys sent me message or even end up leaving comments saying that he ended up changing your life. And I'm going to ask this to all of you. First of all, did you grow up with Mr. Rogers? If so, leave me a like. But more important than that today is leave me a comment saying how important he was for you, because some stories are actually sad, but at the same time they are amazing, because a person that you saw on TV ended up being so important to your life. That to me is how the media can actually be something positive. So feel free to leave me a comment, my friend.
When he showed us how to make crayons.
Wait, what? How to make crayons? But to be fair though, the show seemed really good. I mean, of course, the message is always very positive, but he ended up teaching a lot of things.
Lifelong friends.
Number 9. When he showed us how to make crayons.
I've often thought about people making crayons.
It's easy to take things for granted in our fast-paced lives. We tend to overlook things as we rush to grow up, but Mr. Rogers had a gift for slowing things down a bit and getting us to see the magic all around us.
And then after that, people put in the pigment, which is like colored flour.
In this episode,
Oh, I never knew how this was made, actually.
he takes us through the process of creating crayons.
Now watch the
man.
crayons come into those crayon collectors. There they are.
Mr. Rogers always had a way of making complex processes simpler and easier for us to understand. This mesmerizing episode taught us that even common, everyday objects could have a fascinating story behind them, and that if we looked close enough, the world was filled with colors. Number 8.
Oh man, that's good content, my friend. See, look, I have a kid, he's 1 year old, and this is the type of content I want to show to him. You know, maybe I have to see if there is Portuguese translation for his show or something. I doubt, of course, but man, this is good content, my friends. This is what kids need nowadays.
When he talked about divorce. In the 1980s, America was experiencing a sharp rise in divorce. When Mr. Rogers learned of this, he realized how hard it must be for the children going through this experience.
I don't think they love each other anymore, but I know my daddy loves me, and my mommy loves me too.
He knew that children often blamed themselves for their parents' divorce, so he decided to dedicate several episodes to the topic.
They thought it was all their fault.
Damn.
But of course it wasn't their fault.
It was an unusual and powerful moment in children's television. Other shows often ignore complex and difficult topics like this, but Mr. Rogers went at it head-on in his own gentle way. By doing so, he helped ease the hearts of many children across the country.
If they get a divorce, or if they don't get a divorce, they'll still be your mom and dad. Nothing changes that.
Number 7. When he met Koko the gorilla.
Ears.
We both have ears.
Okay, before we go into the gorilla, just give me a second, my friends. Damn, I don't know, because my parents never divorced, by the way, because maybe because of my reaction, you may assume that. But I always thought this should be so difficult for the kids, you know. So I'm glad that we end up spending some time explaining. Okay, let's pretend you guys did not saw that. Let's continue.
They'll still be
Sorry.
your mom and dad. Nothing changes that.
Number 7. When he met Koko the gorilla.
Ears.
We both have ears.
Ears.
And we both have noses and eyes.
Koko, or Hanabiko, is a western lowland
Holy, that's a big gorilla. Isn't this dangerous, my friends? I mean, I love him, but damn, that's a wild animal at the end of the day.
gorilla who became widely known to the public for having learned a simple form of sign language, and also for her love of cats. She was taught by the animal psychologist Francine Patterson to understand nearly 2,000 words of English and sign around 1,000 herself. When Koko met Mr. Rogers, she told him what we all felt, that she loved it when he visited.
Love you.
Oh, is
she
that-
said.
oh.
Love you, visit, love.
Oh,
Oh,
Well, that was very nice.
thank you, Koko.
She loves her
Koko.
visitor.
It was a sweet
You guys
moment
know
between
Koko?
two of the best any species had to offer.
Where's Mr. Rogers? Peekaboo.
There.
Number 6, when he was inducted into the TV Hall of Fame.
It doesn't
Well deserved 100%.
matter what our particular job. We are chosen to help meet the deeper needs of those who watch and listen.
In 1999, Fred Rogers was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame. To introduce him, the Academy brought on one of Mr. Rogers' old guests, Jeff Erlinger.
On behalf of millions of children and grown-ups, it is you that I like.
We'll talk more about him later on our list, but suffice it to say that Mr. Rogers was overcome with joy to see his old friend. So much so, in fact, that he practically leaped onto the stage to hug and greet him. During his speech, Mr. Rogers asked us all to take 10 seconds to think about those people who had loved and encouraged us in our lives.
Either here or in heaven. Imagine how pleased those people must be to know that you thought of them right now.
If the audience wasn't already
Yeah,
crying, they were now. Number 5, when he talked about violence.
Yo, my friends, okay. I'm not emotional. It's just still struggling with me in the glasses. But okay, let's refocus here. You guys are lucky. You know, I also want to make you aware of this because you guys really end up experience. This guy was showing you gorillas, was showing you how to make crayons, crayons, the English, not my main language. But you guys know what I'm talking about. So you guys are really lucky at the end of the day. This was amazing, amazing content. Are you guys aware of this? Because, man, what a person, what a man. And I think this type of people is the type of people we need more. I'm going to be honest, my friends, because even if you look at what, now specific talking for young men, what they look, the amount of toxic masculinity, I need to be tough. Oh, man, that leads into nothing, to be honest with you, my friends. Being kind, being a person that respects others, this is the type of message we need to put out there more. Man, what an amazing gentleman.
Wasn't already crying, they were now. Number 5, when he talked about violence and shootings.
There are people in the world who are so sick or so angry that they sometimes hurt other people.
Children are tragically so often the victims of violence, but they're seldom asked their thoughts about it. In this poignant segment, especially in our era, Mr. Rogers speaks to several school children about some of the violence and shootings they've seen on television.
But how do you think anybody gets to be a murderer?
Maybe they're lonely.
Lonely?
It's a deep moment when we realize that these kids.
Damn, that's a very complex question, to be fair, my friends. And I think most of us have no idea why that happens. But it's interesting. Like I said, this is amazing content.
Are being given a voice in this matter for the first time. Mr. Rogers goes on to advise us, in dark moments when terrible things are happening on TV, to always look for the people helping and find comfort in that.
Always look for the people who are helping, she'd tell us. You'll always find somebody who's trying to help.
Well, we certainly found it comforting to know that he was there to help us.
What children probably need to hear most from us adults is that they can talk with us about anything, and that we will do all we can to keep them safe.
Number 4, when he buried a pet fish. If we've learned anything about
What? This is awesome.
Mr. Rogers, it's that he isn't afraid to tackle difficult subjects when talking to children. In this episode, he tries to revive a fish who's passed away. When it doesn't come back to life.
Oh, but this is a good way to introduce kids, to that at the end of the day, right? Man, when I was a kid, a very difficult moment for me was when my first dog died, my friends. Wow, that was so traumatic. Man, but this is a great way. Again, I'm repeating myself. Sorry for that, my friends. But I think you guys agree with me. This was amazing, right?
We're left watching the poor thing float upside down. In classic Mr. Rogers fashion,
that fish is
he
gone.
takes the opportunity to teach us some important lessons about death. He even relates a gut-wrenching story about him and his childhood dog. We're thankful that Mr. Rogers had the courage to help us understand the complicated subject that death is. Number 3, when he invited Officer Clemens to share a pool with him.
It looks awfully enjoyable, but I don't have a towel or anything.
Oh, you share mine.
Okay.
Sure.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood began airing in the 1960s, a time of deep racial tensions in the United States, and it was for this reason that Mr. Rogers approached African-American actor and singer Francois Clemens to portray a police officer on his show. Mr. Rogers knew that Clemens could be a positive figure for children, even if Clemens himself had misgivings.
But sometimes just a minute like this will really make a difference.
Later in the series, Mr. Rogers made it a point to share a pool and sing Many Ways to Say I Love You with Officer Clemens, because he knew
Oh, he's the same person again, but a bit older, of course.
what a vital issue overcoming segregation was.
You'll find many ways to say I love you.
Whoa.
You'll find many ways to understand what love is.
Number 2, when he sang with Jeff Erlinger.
Oh man, okay, I have to prepare myself mentally for this one because I saw this one already, my friends. It's one of the clips I reacted back in the day. Okay, but I'm ready. Let's go.
The things that
I do.
not your fancy chair.
So
That's
cute.
just beside
you.
You'll remember Jeff from Mr. Rogers' induction into the Television Academy Hall of Fame. In this episode, he was just a young child.
Jeff, your mom and dad must be really proud of you.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. Well, I know I am.
It's a sad fact
What
that
a
we
great
can often
kid.
react negatively when we see someone who's different from us.
I had a tumor and it broke the nerves to tell my hands and legs what to do.
Of course, Mr. Rogers knows this, so he goes out of his way to introduce us to Jeff, who is disabled and in a wheelchair.
That it's you I like. It's you yourself.
It's you.
He takes away the fear of meeting someone so different by asking him some simple questions. Seeing this open and honest approach to humanity should serve as
Give me a second. Oh boy, my friend, the amount of onions I've been cutting today is kind of crazy. Sorry, I thought I was ready. I think I will never be ready for this clip, my friends. This is so touching.
as a lesson to us all.
We have to all discover our own ways, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Of doing things when we're feeling blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling blue right now, though.
Me neither.
Before we unveil
Sorry, this expression feeling blue means feeling a bit sad, right? I'm not aware of this expression. For me, feeling blue means feeling a color, but I assume is what means, right? Because it makes sense. And for the ones that are watching until the end, am I the only weak person here that gets emotional watching this type of stuff?
our number 1 pick.
Make
Here
me feel a
are
bit
some
better.
honorable mentions.
Mr. Rogers? What do you think about hugging?
Wait, I grew up with Sesame Street, by the way. You know, a lot of you guys say that I remember the vampire on Sesame Street. I don't know why, but okay, the Count or something.
Right now, though.
Me neither.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Mr. Rogers? What do you think about hugging big birds?
I don't know. I've never tried.
Well, here's your big chance.
Moonwalking.
Moonwalk?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Right,
the
put
Michael
your foot
Jackson
like
dance.
this.
Like that.
Then you push back.
Wait,
Then you push back. Yeah, like that. You got it. Yeah.
holy.
Hard.
Yeah.
I know I can tell you one thing. 1, 4, 3. I love you. I'll be back next time. Bye.
Number 1,
Bye.
when he defended PBS to the Senate.
Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
In 1969, President Nixon was proposing major funding cuts to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and PBS. Fred Rogers had always felt that television had a unique power to educate and nurture children, and had made it his mission to show the good of humanity on his show, rather than the lowbrow stuff that was commonly on TV.
I'm very much concerned, as I know you are, about what's being delivered to our children in this country.
For this reason, he was compelled to appear before the United States Senate Subcommittee on Communications to try and save public broadcasting.
Sorry, my friends, but this type of show, look, I would give money from my tax, I have to pay taxes at the end of the year. If I could choose, I would give money to this type of stuff. 100%. I mean, this is so important.
I feel that if we in public television can only make it clear that feelings are mentionable and manageable, we will have done a great service for mental health.
In classic Mr. Rogers style, he convinced the committee members to actually increase the funding. And he did it by reading them a song.
Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can. For a girl can be someday a lady, and a boy can be someday a man.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Ms. Mojo and subscribe for new videos every day.
Damn. Oh, my friend, this was amazing. Am I right? A bit of a different video, a nostalgic one. Of course, the title also says that. But yeah, that's everything for today. Sometimes I also say that I love all of you, and I mean that. And it's so important to be nice to other people, my friends. And Mr. Rogers ended up being such a good example of that. So yeah. Thank you so much, my friends. Again, feel free to share your memories about Mr. Rogers with me in the comment section. Most likely I will read them and see you guys in the next one. Bye, my friends.